Okay, we're going to unclamp the neck and fretboard and alright, there we are. So the next step is going to be taking off the excess, and I'm going to use the bandsaw to get really close and then just sand it down with a leveling beam. And after I do that, then I'm going to radius the fretboard, sand down the fretboard, and make sure that it's ready for receiving the frets themselves. Once I have it radiused, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the outline of the general shape of the neck, take out this much, and get it ready for the actual shaping of the back of the neck. But looks like it's coming along really well. I'll probably end up spending some time cleaning up this area here and on the headstock using a spindle sander. So much easier to do it with the spindle sander, and what I didn't want to do was use the router on this area because you can get a lot of tear out if you're not careful trying to route out a very delicate surface like this. I did that on my first guitar build, and so I don't want to make that same mistake again. So here we go. Thank you. Alright. That's what it looks like. Got a little bit too tight right in this area. But that's not a problem. We're going to sand that down a little bit more. Looks good. Okay, so I'm just going to prepare the fretboard for drilling in the holes for the fret markers. So we're going to put 3, 5, 7, 9, 12, and then 15, 17, 19, and 21, I believe. Anyway, I'll have to double and triple check all of that, but I've got my center line in place, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take an X from one corner of this to another, and then I'm going to mark off the center of that, and that's where I'm going to be putting my marker. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's what I'm going to do, and so it's just going to be a little tedious, so anyway. So now I have the center of each, and actually for the 12th fret, I forgot, I'm going to do a double. We're going to do a double dot there, so I'm just going to cut this one in half, this rectangle in half. And there we go. Got that one, this one, this one, this one, these two, that one, that one, that one, and that one. So these are where we're going to put our fret markers. And the next thing, I'm just going to take a punch and just punch a little hole there, which is going to be the guide for using our brad point bit drill bits to put those in. So that's what we're going to do. Gotta use my glasses. Okay, so this is the moment of truth. I have my brad point quarter bit set. I'm going to be using 6mm 6mm dots. There's going to be a little bit of play once the hole is made, but I'll fill in the excess with CA glue, the cyanoacrylate. But this time, instead of doing it freehand or somewhat freehand with the drill press and just holding it with my hand, I'm actually clamping it, making sure there's going to be absolutely no movement. Last time, I didn't take my time to set it up, and I had a bad result. The first few, I got a lot of wander, so the holes were a little off. So this time, I'm using the brad point bits the whole way through, but I'm making sure that everything's clamped down, taking a little bit of extra time to make sure that it is done right the first time. So I hope you can see this. And one of the reasons why I'm doing this now before, oh, that's perfect. One of the reasons why I'm doing this now before I radius the fretboard is so that when I do radius the fretboard when I'm sanding, it's also going to include the markers as well. So. All right, that one actually looked good. I'm just gonna do the rest with the rest of the fret markers. Okay, so here we have the neck, and I've drilled the holes for the fret markers. They are not yet glued in. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to glue them in one by one, and then once it's glued, then I'll use the accelerant to lock them in. Then I'll actually start sanding them and working on the radiusing of the fretboard itself. So. So I'm using ultra thin CA. I'm just going to put a little bit inside at first. Actually, this stuff is so fast. You gotta be careful. That's fast. And that's it. Now we're just going to sand it down briefly just to get off the excess of the CA that's kind of bubbled up here. And then we'll start leveling or radiusing the fretboard. Alright. Okay, so this is the flat fretboard. I have a 12 degree, you can see it says 12 degree, 12-inch radius, 12-inch radius, which I'm going to use. I'm actually just going to put it on top of here and have at it with this. And intermittently, I'm going to check with my gauge to see if it is actually the right radius. So here we go. You can see it's taking off the sides due to the contour. Once I'm able to see that it's getting rid of some of this in here, I'll know that I'm getting my radius done. Actually, here's a trick. By doing this, we'll be able to see if it's taking some of the pencil off of the low spot, the center. Oh, good. You can still see there's pencil lead in the middle of the fretboard, so just gotta keep going. This is 220 grit. I'm going to go a little finer after that 100 grit. So here's the fretboard after it was radiused. Nice curve, but the frets are not deep anymore, so I'm going to have to go back with the fret saw and just clean it up a little bit and make them deeper all the way through. Alright.